suppose in some ways that's a good thing, because it means that you know, this motor is basically a sound motor. The only problem was the oil leak, and I thought the oil leak was due to this, but it wasn't. Okay, righto. I think this is a bit better now than it was though anyway, so, and it's got new gaskets here as well. Righto, back when there's more to show. There's the hole, and here's a patch. It kind of fits sort of okay. So what I'll do, I'll weld it in where it touches, then I'll kind of hit it so that it touches all the way around and keep welding. I was trying to do a Kyle Carter on it, but I didn't quite pull it off. So I can get a tack at the bottom, I'm going to get a tack at the top, and I'll get a tack on that edge there, down there, and you know, then I can start manipulating it. Righto, back in a bit. I've welded up the oil pan. It looks a little bit of a mess, and it is a little bit of a mess, but this is a reflection of basically I'm running out of parts in my parts stash. I don't look upon this one as like a high value motor, so I don't want to put my best bits on it, but you can see I've welded in that patch in the corner there. It went okay actually, and what I did, I applied the flame all around here, and where it went through, in other words where there was a deep rust pit from the back, I've welded it up. And I applied the flame all the way along there and all the way around, and it didn't go through there. But what I think I'll do, I think I'll take it outside, put it at a certain angle, and fill it up with water so it comes up to there, like that. And you know, just see if any comes through to the other side. Okay. Well, I'm surprised it's as bad as that. That's got water in it, look, and it's leaking from up there. It's leaking from up there. It's leaking from somewhere around about down there. And it also came out up here somewhere. Oh, and over here. Applied the torch over that area there and put a little bit of weld in where it went. When you apply the torch on it, you can see it go hot very quickly. Where it goes hot very quickly, that's where it's thin. And I've kind of re-welded a couple of bits over here. I've put a bit of water in. I've turned the hose off because I can see some coming through there already. So I'll try it the other way around. Yeah, it's leaking, isn't it? I've had another go at welding. I'm not sure if I filmed the last little test. So I'll film it right from the word go this time. Oh, there's a little damp patch appearing there, look. Okay, and one there. Okay, that was quite helpful before to film right from the word go, so that you can see right at the very start of the leak. So let's put this hose in. Turn it on. And watch. Okay, it's leaking outside, but that's alright. Oh, I think... okay. Oh, I can see a tiny little damp patch there, right in the middle. Oh, and a bit there. Oh, Jesus Christ, never ending, isn't it? Looks like the bit where I've just been welding. Okay. Don't know what I fucking well bother. Let's try this again. Oh, I just saw something. I don't know if it was a little flake or something. Might be a flake as it's called. Turn the flow up a bit. Okay. Oh, it's just come through a hole up there. High up. Just come through a hole high up. Bloody hell. Okay. I might give up on this job, you know. I think I might be wasting my time. Righto. Done some more welding. Got water in. Put a bit more in. But water's above all of those welds now, and I think it's okay. I think I must have had at least 10 goes at welding that. I welded some of those from the other side. I think it's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it would be wet by now. Like having a water feature in the garden. Okay, I think that might be okay. I think that might be okay. It was just about to brim over the middle. Just about to brim over that middle bit there on the meniscus. Can't really think what else I can do. I think that'll be okay. Okay, look, the dog wants to play ball. Poor thing. I'll have a little play with the dog for a little bit while it's still light. Okay. Next time you see that, it'll probably be back on the engine. Okay, back in a bit then. Hello. Here's my oil pan, my sump. Sump's the sort of English expression for it. Here's my engine ready to receive it. So it would appear that, well, it isn't ready to receive it. Once again, I haven't put the oil pump in. it would appear that the problem wasn't with my repair to the oil seal. The problem was actually that there was a hole in the sump. So I'm going to rotate the engine and clean the flywheel so that it's nice and clean, and fit the oil pump and get it buttoned up. You can see oil down there, look where the oil pump goes. Okay, anyway, yeah, so I think this motor's going to be okay. This was the motor, this was the old 59 Flathead, the one that was in very poor condition, but had been stored upside down, so there's no cracks in the pan rail. And I assembled it all up, and I took one of these flywheels and machined off this heavy part here and fitted it, and when I ran it, it had bad vibration. So I took the engine out of the truck, took the flywheel off and balanced it on the lathe, you know, to the best of my sort of half-assed sort of amateur ability, and it improved it. And when I refitted the flywheel, it ran in a way that I could run it at higher revs. The problem is then that a different problem reared its head, and that was all the conrods were different lengths, and the longest conrod just happened to coincide with a combustion chamber on the head that wasn't very deep, so the piston was hitting, and that was what caused a bad rattle at higher revs. I couldn't run it at higher revs because of the flywheel. So when I rebuilt it, I took the crank rods and bearings from a different engine, what I call the Painton engine. It was that very dirty engine, very sludgy engine, and I put those in. So it was just interesting to see how this engine runs with a different bottom end in it. It's because all these rods look to be a nice matched set. Really, it needs to go in a vehicle to test it. I might put it back in the truck, but for now I'll put it in there and just run it there, see how it goes. When I put it back in here, because I wanted to see how smooth it ran, I fitted a factory flywheel, you know, so that there's no question mark over the flywheel, you know, is it balanced or not. Okay, so factory flywheel, 9-inch clutch, just old parts. It's actually a new plate, but this part's quite old. Okay, so that's my little roundup. Hang on, did I mention this? Yeah, I've repaired the oil pan. It doesn't look very pretty as usual with my welding. I'll clean this out a little bit more. I'll get some brake cleaner and clean it out, and I'll put it back on. Okay, so there you go. That took quite a while. That did about a couple of hours at least welding that, and then testing it and finding another hole and filling that, and test, weld. But it's ready to go back on now. Okay, I'll bring it back when there's more to show. Okay, the motor's in the chassis. As far as I know, everything's hooked up. Water's in it, oil's in it. That's connected, that's connected. The oil gauge is connected, the temp gauge is connected, fuel is connected. So let's see if it starts. I've put the exhaust on. It might be a little bit noisy, but I'll start it up. See how it goes. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is there might be some residual oil from the previous leak around the back end, so yeah, it's a little bit difficult to judge, but let's just see what happens. I won't pump it or anything because I want it to crank. It is hooked up. Let's see if it fires or if it cranks and gets the pressure up first. Okay, oil pressure's going up. Okay, let's pump a bit of fuel now. Oh, fuel tap. Okay. Turn the fuel on. Under the dash on this side. There. Oh, fuel is on. I just heard it make a noise, so it's obviously got a lot of suck on this side. Well, anyway, that delayed it long enough to get the oil pressure anyway. I don't know why there's a sort of a rhythm to the cranking. Without realising it, I put a different starter on. I don't know if it's something to do with that. Okay, we're about nearly 4 minutes in when it started. Just a couple of notes. First of all, you wouldn't want to run a brand new engine like that because you haven't broken all the rings into the bores. This engine isn't brand new, it's run before. You know, quite a few miles on it. Also, you got to remember it's a bit fumy, so you have to, you know, make sure you got plenty of fresh air or access to fresh air. You got to also remember that engine's been tipped upside down, so you know it's probably got quite a bit of oil up the bores and things. Well, the camera's saying 28 minutes, so it's been running about 24 minutes. It's got almost 15 psi of oil pressure. Let's have a look, see if there's any oil down the bottom there. Can't really open the door because I put the camera on the door. Well, with my eyes I can see down into that area and it looks dry. I don't think there's any need to run it any longer because I've already proved the point with the oil pressure and this pump and this crank of bearings, and I've kind of seemed to have proved that it's not leaking at the back. you know, not excessively or at all. So there's no real benefit to run it any longer, just using fuel. So I think I might call it good at that. So we got almost 15 psi pressure. Take the camera mount off. Let's get rid of all this crap. And I'm looking down right down there into that area, and I think it looks okay. You can see a tiny little bit of water. I think that's probably run down from the top. Okay, we've been running for half an hour, so I'm going to call it good at that. It's not going to tell us anything different now. That's settled into a fully warm state. Okay, righto, let's turn it off. There we go. Okay, I'll give it a chance to air out, then I'll come back and think about what to say. Back in a bit. Hello. Right. I've just come back out to the garage to do a little closing piece for the 59 Flatty, the old 59. I think that motor's okay and good to go. The bottom end all looks okay. It has plenty of oil pressure at idle. Which, you know, is a difficulty when really it could do with a regrind, it could do with the rods resizing, it could do with new bearings, but it's okay. It's got oil pressure. And like with the other engine, which is there, in a plodder application, that's fine. That's all you want. That's all you need to get one of these old cars about. It's buttoned up, it's got new gaskets, road testing my homemade gaskets, so that's good. I can see the slightest trace of oil in that area, but there was such a lot of amount of oil in the bell housing area that I think it may have come down from there. And to be honest, even with good seals, rope seals, you will get a little bit come out past them. So I'm saying that is no worse than can be expected at that side there. So I'm going to say that's good. So this is a good running engine, and it ought to run well because it has the heads skimmed quite heavily. It ought to run well, and it did run well in my truck. It ran well in my truck. So it'll be interesting to see what it runs like now with the other crank and rods and bearings, and with a factory Ford flywheel. So I'm going to call it good for now. I'm going to close the chapter on this little rework of the 59A, the old 59A. Again, it was a motor that I resurrected from, wow, it was scrap when I got it. It was dreadful. I put liners into it. I put new old stock Ford pistons, 45 thou over. You know, and it's in good running order. Runs well, starts well, and drives well. When I had it in my truck, it drove well. It just had that rattle which I've associated now with the piston touching the head. So I'll fix that, and I think it'll be okay. My Roadster's, it's a shame to see it like this, but you know, at the moment it's providing a good service for me by doubling as my engine running stand. Okay, let's close it at that then. Thanks for watching the progress on the repair on this engine. And you take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye.